All right, we are going to solve quadratics that are written in the format of a binomial squared. And so for this first problem, we're trying to get x by itself, right? But it's being multiplied by 3, it's being subtracted by 1, and it's also being squared. And so what we need to do is first kind of release this variable from the parentheses. And the way that we're going to do that is we're going to take the square root of both sides of this equation, right? The square root of 3x minus 1 squared is just 3x minus 1. The square root of the constant that it's equal to is the positive or negative square root of that constant, which is 11. So now we have 3x minus 1 is equal to positive or negative 11. So we've released the variable from its parentheses so we can continue to solve using inverse operations. But what we first have to do is set up the two different equations that this implies, right? This is telling us that 3x minus 1 can be equal to 11, but 3x minus 1 can also be equal to negative 11. So really we have two different equations to solve, all right? So on the left side, we're going to go ahead and do the inverse operation of that minus 1 by adding 1 to both sides to give us 3x equals 12. We can finish with this equation. We'll divide by 3 on both sides to get rid of that coefficient of 3, and that'll give us x equals 4. So x equals 4 is one of the solutions, sorry, I should have moved this one down, is one of the solutions of this quadratic. Now let's solve the other equation we made to find out what the other solution is. And so we're going to similarly start by adding 1 on both sides to give us 3x is equal to negative 10. Again, we're just trying to isolate that x. So it's being multiplied by 3. We're going to divide by 3, and that'll get rid of it. So now we have x equals negative 10 thirds. And so the two solutions of this quadratic equation are x is equal to negative 10 thirds and x is equal to 4. All right, let's try a second example. 5x plus 6 squared equals 1. So again, we see that binomial expression being squared. It's not just the x being squared. It's the whole thing, 5x plus 6, that's being squared. And so when we see something like that, the first thing we need to do is release it of its parentheses. So we're going to take the square root of both sides of this. So when we do that, the square root of the left side just becomes 5x plus 6. And the square root of positive 1, we're going to do positive or negative 1. All right. And now this shows us that we are going to split this into two separate equations. 5x plus 6 can be equal to 1, or 5x plus 6 can be equal to negative 1. And once you've got your two equations, you just continue to solve by using inverse operations. So on the left side, I'm going to go minus 6 on both sides. That's going to give me 5x equals negative 5. I want to isolate that x, so I'm going to divide by 5 on both sides. And that's going to give me x equals negative 1 as one of my solutions, right? Quadratic equation, we have a second solution. So we're looking at that right side equation, 5x plus 6 equals negative 1 now. Same thing, we're going to subtract 6 on both sides to give us 5x equals negative 7. I'm trying to get that x by itself. Right now it's being multiplied by 5, so I'm going to divide by 5, do the inverse. Of course, I'm going to do it on both sides. And that's going to give me x equals negative 7 over 5. And that is my second solution for this quadratic equation. All right. Leaving you guys with a practice problem. I will put the answer to the practice problem in the description of the video. So if you got it right, great job. Give me a thumbs up on the video. If you got it wrong and you can't find your mistake, you can leave a comment, explain your work, and I will try to see if I can help you out. And that is how you solve quadratic equations that are written in the form where it is a binomial squared.